governments around the world, and certainly yours locally, is lying to you in various ways that are easy to use to establish.
We have 33 confirmed positive tests.
We have 33 Pennsylvanians who have tested positive.
Today we have 33 cases.
There were 33 new cases.
The state of Minnesota today reported 33 related deaths.
There are 33 confirmed cases in Arkansas.
That's the largest single-day increase so far, raising the total to 33.
33.
There were 33 confirmed cases in North Carolina.
33. There was 33 everywhere. I think that was Red Team Go. I think 33 is like Red Team Go. Everybody goes, okay, let's do it. It's time. Yeah, what? Dude, there's like literally 1,000 33s and 33 new cases. 33 people died in fucking Hong Kong.
Let's talk this week's mission. Bohemian Grove. Yes! Outdoor Festival of the Year! It's like Burning Man, but they actually burn men. Every year it brings together the 6 societies that secretly rule the world. The Reptoids, the Atlanteans, the Catholic Church, the Juggalos, for some reason, us, and of course our arch rivals, the Illuminati. So what's the deal with the Illuminati again? Basically, they're the cool version of us. This Copper Steve Bag is teacher Klooch, and now Fiddler Out, and my immortal enemy. I hate that guy. He's always making the Illuminati fuck with comedy, like the time they toilet paper our office. Those artsy, hilarious baskets. Every year, he challenges us to the power struggle.
Actually, you know what cannibals call humans? Long cannibals. But it tastes like bacon, you have to cure it.
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can harvest their body organs and get the very best. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder. But I know the system. I've been a spy all over the world. I have created the Marine Corps Intelligence Command. I have trained intelligence and law enforcement representatives, over 8,000 of them from across 66 countries. They're all, without exception, good people trapped in a bad system. Now that we've had Pizzagate, for example, which opened people's mind, is we could achieve an open organizations that end up being used to prey on children. Oxfam is a recent example. All of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to prey on children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations. So that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact hunting children. At the totality of the children disappearing worldwide is forward 8 million children. In the United States of America, the acknowledged number, not counting the children being bred without birth certificates, not counting the children being imported without documentation, is 600 and 800,000 a year. Now imagine Africa and East Asia and all these other locations. How long do these children survive within this system?
limitations that space and time impose on it, and yet keep its principal characteristics. Now and in future centuries. Now and in future centuries. Now and in future.
How long do these children survive within this system? What I am hearing from the witnesses that I've talked to is 2 years. It may be longer. It may be 4 years. It may be 6 years. But by and large, these children are so abused. I mean, we're talking rapes by the hour that they reach their expiration date within 2 years. And then they're murdered with impunity, or they're ritually murdered if that's what they've been bred for.
That means that time has ended. There's no longer turning. There's no axle. I think most people don't realize how quickly things are about to change. But they are, and it's going to be a white-knuckle ride.
And you'll find that if you look at the zodiac and the four corners of the zodiac, there's something very interesting about its configuration in heavens. This is the Milky Way. It crosses 2 places only on the ecliptic, here and here. And you'll notice that it's right next to the eagle. In fact, it's a very important place because this, the Milky Way, actually does, in fact, appear like a serpent. This is its mouth, its eye, and the tail is going into its mouth. There's it enhanced for you. And I'm still facing the same way. There's the mouth and the tail going into the mouth. Here's a close-up of the same thing. This is basically where the eagle would appear. Now, I'm sure people are going to start seeing a similarity between the myth of the phoenix rising from the ashes of his demise, a glowing pyre, and being reborn is crossed by the galaxy in 2 places. Then it becomes very significant then if we actually sight it during one of the cardinal points of our year, say an equinox or a solstice. In fact, it's so significant that you'll actually, if you understand this, go back into history, you'll be able to mark this point in time here that takes, it's actually a quaternary point through the precession the last 25,920 years. Divide it in 4 places, it'll actually equal 6,480 years. You'll find that if you go back from now, 6,480 years, you're ending up in the place where historians peg civilization actually has, having been born, almost out of nothing. Go back another 6,480 years, you'll end up in every time with a configuration that looks like this. Geologists actually mark that year of 2 quaternary precessions with the division between the Pleistocene and the Holocene, where there was a massive global dialogue. This is what this looks like. When you reach the point of the precession, where you're at that middle place, where the sun's rising in the center of the galaxy, this is how the ecliptics align to it. And this will occur 1 day out of the whole year. But when this is aligned to one of our equinoxes or solstices, it takes on extreme significance. Because you have all the symbols connect at the same time. Where you have the primordial mound the Egyptians were talking about, the nest, the fire that the phoenix is born from, the sun rising in the nest, activating it, the center of the galaxy, and the ecliptic running through here. And if this is aligned with the solstice or an equinox, all the points are matching, because what it means is we move through a quarter of the precession, and big things happen. As I was saying, if you start from 2012 and move back 6,480 years, you end up with the birth of history and civilization. Go back again, same distance, division between the Pleistocene and the Holocene, and massive die-off of more than 90% of the flora and fauna in North America and Europe. Go back again, height of the glacial epoch, and before that, you can actually find no trace of the more ancient hominids. Mankind, Homo sapiens, seems to have been installed here on the Earth. And I'm not saying that we were put here from space, but it seems that we didn't have much competition after that point. This is when this symbol will happen again.
What the conscious mind believes, the subconscious acts on. It works like programming a computer. Information is fed into a computer, and the computer acts on it. However, if the information fed into the computer is void of cognitive dissonance, holds that the mind automatically and involuntarily rejects information not in line with previously accepted thoughts and beliefs. Many of the things that people believe are never questioned, especially when the information has come from a reliable source. It becomes easy to lose sight of why people believe some of the things that they do.
Unser Führer! Adolf Hitler! Dich! Dich! Dich!
People can be led to believe something that is not true when that information is carefully timed and presented by an accepted and respected authority. The purpose of propaganda is to direct public attention to certain facts.
The whole art consists in doing this so skillfully that everyone will be convinced that the fact is real,
wrote Adolf Hitler in Mein Kampf. To be effective, propaganda must constantly short-circuit all conscious thinking and operate on the individual subconsciously. The principles behind the big lie of propaganda are the same principles of mind control, hypnotic suggestion, mental programming, distraction, and repetition. Distraction focuses the attention of the conscious mind on one or more of the five senses in order to stop conscious thinking, thus producing a state of mind that is similar to daydreaming. Think of the times you have caught yourself staring blankly at the television screen, losing all sense of time and place. When you stop conscious thinking and your mind goes blank, this is the hypnotic state of mind. This altered state occurs naturally, but can also be induced by clever manipulation. Think of the times you have seen flashing words in TV commercials. The flashing words are a distraction for your eyes to lock onto in order to induce hypnosis. The purpose of this is to reduce any resistance to the message by stopping all thought and analysis. Watching television often produces an altered state of consciousness. Though not consciously perceived, the television screen, while appearing static, actually flickers. Any repeating light or sound pattern can lead you into an altered state. A hypnotist uses pattern speech by varying the pacing and inflection of his voice to induce this state of mind in his subject. It is in this state of mind where one is the most receptive to mental programming. Whether or not the information takes hold in the mind depends on two factors: trust in the source of the information and repetition of the message. Trust in the source of the information induces acceptance of the message as true, even if it is not understood. Repetition of the message embeds it in the subconscious so that acceptance of its truth and accuracy becomes a conditioned response. Thus, this information will be accepted as true without thinking about it whenever it is presented again.
The sun in the center of the galaxy. It's like a universal awareness that when certain things align, the sun and this mysterious dark core of humanity. The next image in this series shows the same divine cross, terrestrial cross at the top. And below it appears to be a boat, an ark. And it's sort of a casual reference back to God's promise that you won't use water this time, it'll be fire. So the idea of the bark or the boat here is what spiritual authority will save us.
I find that so many deluges and deep floods shall befall the world before the universal conflagration, that there shall be scarcely any land that is not covered by water. The rains in many countries shall be so slight, and so much fire, and so many meteorites shall fall from the sky, that nothing shall remain that is not consumed.
Image 72 is probably the warning of what is going to happen if we don't do this thing right. You notice, first off, the Wheel of Fortune at the top no longer has any spokes. It's empty. That means that time has ended. It's no longer turning. There's no axle. I think most people don't realize how quickly things are about to change, but they are.
things about being alone. There are certain good things about being alone.